There's this game engine that I've been watching grow almost since version 1.0, but I've never really had a chance to try it. It's called GB Studio. It's a very little, very condensed, tiny game engine that promises a low-code, no-code approach to development that's used to develop Game Boy Color style games. Back in the day, it was actually mostly adventure games, something like Pokemon or Zelda. But the cool feature was that you were able to build a ROM, actually export your game as a ROM that will be playable on a real Game Boy emulator. It's totally crazy, super. But like I said, I've never really tried it, and I've recently, a couple of days ago, I actually checked out. I only was updating this, checking out. Oh, they released a new version. Cool. Never bothered to check out what the actual features were. But a couple of days ago, I actually ran it, and oh my god, the difference between 1.0 and 3.0 is tremendous. The engine is absolutely fantastic, and I said okay, and I decided okay, maybe it's the best time to start something, to create something of my own, and yeah, let's go on a journey together, right? Let's code together. I actually decided to code something that might resemble a Flappy Birds clone. I call it the Crappy Birds, because it's a very simple type of game. It won't require many assets to be somewhat playable. Yeah, let's get to it. Okay, so before I start creating a game, I want to show you something which is a really cool feature of this engine. It's the sample project, because it actually showcases everything, or almost everything you can do with the engine. Like I said, the engine is very, very small, but the team actually put a lot of effort to make you understand the internals and what goes where. It's like I said, it's fantastic. So let's call it sample project, create it, and there you go. It's your main view, right? So in general, the game you create is going to be a set of scenes, right? This is sample town, or cave, or top house. These are scenes, and scene is everything you can see on your screen, right? It can be a game world, it can be a menu, it can be splash screen, whatever. I mean, everything is a game. And I will open another GB Studio, and again, without mistake, blank project, and call it Crappy Birds. Okay, created. Okay, so it's empty, it doesn't have anything, and here you see stuff. You can start by clicking here to add your first scene. So in GB Studio you can actually add 3 entities into your game. You can add a scene from the bottom, scene, right? I already talked about. So scene is everything you see on screen. Menu, game menu, splash screen, level, anything you want. We will add first scene. Okay. Then you can add an actor or trigger. Actor is a NPC, enemy, blacksmith in your RPG game. Any NPC is an actor, someone or something, or actually someone or something then player can interact with. That's important. And trigger is an area that triggers and events in your game. Yeah, so quite simple, right? Actor, trigger, and scene. And like I said, you don't add a player, because every scene has player by default. So let's go with scene 1. Let's call it game. Okay. And as you can see, there is no way for you to set a size of game, right? You can see that you cannot change the size of the game manually. You cannot stretch it. So let's look into sample project. How do we do it, right? You can see that there are small levels, there are large levels, and if you want, so when I checked it out, it actually seems that the background size determines the size of your game. Okay, so and yeah, you have different types of scenes. So you have shoot 'em ups, which is like this 2D shooting games, mostly in space. I think this is something we will be using. Okay, let's make our game a shoot 'em up. Why not? So top down, shoot 'em up. Let's move our player somewhere here. And you can also change the direction because by design, Game Boy only has like 4 directions: left, up, down, and right. So we will be moving right all the time. And yeah, let's give it a shot. What will happen? Let's give it some time to compile. Okay, I can move up, I can move down, perfect. And I'm flying nowhere, I'm flying into oblivion. I don't know if am I moving? I don't know. Okay, let's put some background into it. So I will actually steal the assets from this project because it's the fastest way, and actually the background is really nice. Our crappy birds will be in space. Let's go into the project, sample project. Okay, right here, and you have your assets. And if you just, so this is our sample project. I will go into backgrounds, and this is stars wide. Yeah, this is our background. So let's just copy it into our Crappy Birds project. Assets, backgrounds. And for what I saw, it will automatically try to figure out. So let's background stars wide. Yay! Holy crap, it's a lot of space. Yeah, you can zoom here if you want, because you are able to paint something here. Okay, so now we have a longer background. It will actually try to change something. So let's see. Okay, it scrolls. Oh, it stopped. Yeah, so pretty long. I think I will cut this a little bit. It's too long for my taste. Okay. Let's edit this. It opens MS Paint, which is the best tool for. And let's make it shorter. I checked the docs, and you actually need to have a specific size. And this has to be a multiplication of 8, right? So, okay. Oh, it automatically refreshed. Great, and now I can fit this on one screen, which is also a good thing. I don't think I will be able to do an infinite scroller like original Flappy Birds. I don't know the engine. Maybe it's possible, but let's forget about it for now. So my Crappy Birds will have an ending, and I would like to make some trigger. Maybe here. Okay. And this trigger. Yeah, and here is where we'll go into coding. So you can actually write code if you want to program so much, but I won't do it, and I will just stick with the original low code, no code approach. So this is like an event-based programming, and so this trigger, I can add an event, right? So if this event is triggered, let's call this what can I call this, level end. Okay, this is our trigger. And what if our player reaches this destination, I will say, okay, dialogue. Is there a dialogue? Yeah, display dialogue. You won. Great. Okay, let's see what will happen. Maybe I will change the speed of the game. I don't know. Okay. Huh. Okay. Okay. I check from. Okay, you can enable color mode, and you can actually change the color palette of the game. And with this you can actually draw something on screen. So I will just swap the palette to something else and draw something on screen. Okay, let's do this. Let's do it this way. Okay, let's wait a little bit. Oh, come on. Still? Okay. So let's Control Z this stuff. Move this here, and again, let's put some color into this. It's actually crazy. Actually, I don't think I like it. I mean, that the end of level is not the end of level. Weird, but we'll see. Okay, you won. Great. So we reached the end of the level. Okay. And yeah, so I can actually go a few tiles to the right. I don't want to do this. I'm fine with this. So let's try to figure out. Well, let's try to figure out what we can do. We can reset. Okay. Player set player actor. What can we do with actor? Position, maybe. Position. Set actor position. Okay. Yeah, player, and set it to X is 0, and I think this position is 9. So let's move this guy into 9. Great. So it will just reset his position. What I can do is actually I can create a script. With this you can actually create any reusable functions like in regular programming, and still use this event-based approach, so it's kind of cool. Let's call this script player 1, player win. Let's call player win. Okay, and let's copy this into replace. Okay, so these are the same conditions, but I can easily figure it out. Maybe I can reuse this condition, and from here I should be able to script. Yeah, the GPVM is actually this coding approach. So this is like you can actually write some code, but I don't want to do this. I've never touched this, so let's not talk about it for much. But call script player win. Okay, that's cool. Okay, so we have our success conditions already created. In Flappy Birds, I need some obstacles. Okay, so let's make some obstacles. This will be this will be the first one, like here. Okay, maybe not like here. Like this. Keep in mind that for now it doesn't have any collisions, right? This is just a paint job, so I would need to add some triggers here, and add trigger, and just look at this. This is the counter, and you can have 10 tiles of the game used by sprites. You can have 30 triggers in your level, in your scene, and you can have 20 actors. So you are limited, and the approach I'm showing will actually use quite a lot of the T is the shortcut to create a trigger. It will use quite a lot of trigger space, but what can you do? And paint it. And yeah, this is all of them. Okay, I will expand its height. Okay, now everything it has triggers, right? So it will detect when player enters, but what will happen? I can create another script. Player lose, and we will do the same thing. So one thing, if you start to write anything that doesn't make sense, so let's call it you lost, right? You see, it already tells you to display this dialog, you lost. Great. Okay, and add event position. Set actor position to 0, 9. Okay, 0, 9. Great. We can even go with the don't repeat yourself approach and create a script called reset player. Don't do it like this. If you ever wondered how to delete scripts, because if you click that delete doesn't work, you go here, arrow, and delete script. Same if you want to delete some instructions. Counterintuitive, but hey, they did it this way. So player win, and you lose and you get reset. So, and yeah, the painful approach is we have to assign this everywhere. So, and you have to click on every single trigger and just call script and player lose. So let's do this, and I will see you in a second. And this is the last one. Call script player lose. Okay, let's test it out. It's actually pretty easy because you lost. Great, this is something I wanted, and the game resets. Yeah, so I don't have this Flappy Bird gravity. I would need to up. Okay, and add end of space. Great. So what should happen is the player should fall down, right? In Flappy Birds it has some sort of gravity, so you always go down if you don't do anything. In the shoot 'em up doesn't have the gravity, right? You're in space or in air, so it won't work. So I would need a way for a player to be constantly pulled down, and game doesn't have like an update method, and player doesn't have any methods because it's bound to the game screen. So one solution you can do is you can create an actor, right? An empty guy. You can on init you can hide actor. Yeah, let's call this gravity. This will be our gravity, so it will be hidden. There is also something, and this guy has on update. So this is an actor, it can actually have some AI, some logic behind it. So first, keep running while off screen. This will ensure that our actor will still do something even if we are here, for example, like if our player is here. And yeah, you can add event. It will be what, distance or position. You have something like relative position for player, and we will just move -1 or 1. I don't know the coordinates. Let's go with -1. We'll see where it leads us. Okay. Ooh, not this one. And I lost it first. It's way too fast. So I will give this guy some sort of weight, maybe. Let's give it a weight. Half a second. Okay, so wait and set position, and it will be 1 tile. Okay. So let's check out how it feels. Oh, we're going down. Yeah, the problem is even if I press up, it will still try to drag me down. So maybe not. Maybe not. Is there an if? What kind of if statements do we have? If joypad input held, that's a cool one. So if somebody holds up or down, then we will execute our script. Okay. So let's wait, and then if, yeah, that should help. Something's not right. You lost. Joypad up. Ah, okay. Okay, so it's not like if it's held, I shouldn't do anything. So let's go to else and swap this into else. So if this is held, I don't do anything because I don't want my actor to be pulled down in this weird way. But if, yeah, so and maybe only up, or maybe only, I don't know how. Oh, let's leave it this way. It doesn't need to be perfect. It can be my game. I love its imperfections. Okay, so now actually it's easier to lose in this game, which I am not a fan of. Okay, dodge this. You lost. Okay, whatever you say. But what is the game without points, right? I think that some sort of point collection is necessary. So let's create another trigger. Let's put it here. Okay. And here you have variables. I won't go into details on what kind of variables GB Studio has because it actually has 3 types: are temporary, local, and global. But here we are interested in global variables, so it's called score. By default, variables are just integer values from 0 to 225, so 1 byte of data. And yeah, these are global variables. So global variables can be used between scenes. And between scripts, etc. So yeah, global. We can do increment score. Okay. Increment something. Variable incremented by 1. Great. Score. This is it. Whoa, that was fast. And let's put here again script increment score. Okay, I will do it. See you in a minute. Okay, so that was the last one. Let's check how it works. Yeah. I should do the last trigger that will actually kill the player if it reaches the bottom, but I will see if I do this. Okay. Yeah, you won, but you know, I don't know if my script works or not. So because yeah, I know that it is incrementing, but is it actually incrementing? So let's give the player some information about the score, and inside player win, you won. Let's add score, and here if you press dollar and you start typing the ID of the variable, so dollar score, it will actually, you know, it lightens up, and it tells you that it uses a dynamic string, like value from the score. And for lose, I will also do this. So score is score. Okay, let's try this now. So should be 1. Score 1. Great. Yeah. I don't like the fact that the arrow moves up, but this is how the GB Studio has a lot of like convention over configuration approach. So I'll score 6, and it actually matches because I have 6 guys. And now I'll score 7. And if I do this right now, score 8. Okay, so I need to reset on death. Score lose. And yeah, set variable, to value, and this will be what? Score. Okay, to 0, and it should be fine. I don't know, but I think it doesn't matter if I do it as a first or second, but before moving player, let's just display the score, reset the score, and set position to 0. That makes sense. Yeah, so the GB Studio actually has a lot of convention over configuration, as I started saying. So let's go to sample project quickly, and let's go to sprites. I will want to player ship. Yeah, it only has like one line. Yeah. So you can see, okay, you can see the player here. So what they actually do is you have to specify in this order a player when they go down, when they go up, and when they go right, and they automatically flip the sprite to go left. So here the player has some walking animation, but if you specify only 3 sprites in this one atlas, it will automatically assume the first tile to be down, second up, and third right. It's actually pretty cool and makes everything so much faster, because it's just, you know, convention over configuration. It's actually pretty cool. So for me to remove this annoying effect of arrow, I would need to what? Can I delete? No, I don't think I can. Nah, let's keep it. I don't. Or maybe I can change it into Crappy Birds assets, sprites, actor static. Oh, let's rotate the guy. How do I rotate? I think the default image viewer has something like this. Can I rotate? Okay, let's check it. And I was change my player to game word. Change my player into static. I like it more. Does it? Yay! Oh, I lost. Okay. Yeah, I think I can actually add this trigger. Why not? So, call script. Not this guy. So, call script and player lose. Okay, let's check out if this second pass is actually doable or not. It is doable. And yeah, I lost score too. Great. Good enough. Good enough. Okay, so this is Flappy Birds for you. And the engine is actually fantastic. I mean, the amount of polish, just look at it. I mean, it looks so good. It has tons of charm. It feels like Pico 8 but on steroids. With Pico 8, I think it's more style over substance, which doesn't mean that Pico 8 is bad. But here, I love it. And we're comparing to Pico 8. This GB Studio also has its quirks. Yeah, for example, the way I showed you score, right? It's not possible to display text on screen by any means, and it's super strange. I don't know, I've never actually played enough Game Boy games to tell you that if Game Boy games had any text on screen. Anyway, so that's Flappy Birds in GB Studio for you. I think it's pretty cool. It was actually very easy and very fun to do it. I love that kind of tiny game engines, tiny tools that make sense and do one thing, but they do this thing very, very well. Yeah. Thanks for watching, and see you in the next one.